a fairly limited number of things that are true about gender differences between males and females, but it's also this process of kind of learning these stereotypes and how rigorously children kind of hold on. You can see the kids, how ridiculous the question was to the children about wearing, who wears a dress or things like that. Like, once they learn it, kids are really actively trying to learn how the world works. And so once they kind of learn a stereotype or a tendency, then it's like, clothes, there is clearly gender differences in clothes that we wear. But again, at the same time, looking at across the room, jeans, men and women both wear jeans. There's a lot of things that kind of cut across genders, but that children are not just learning the rules, but then actively go out and try to apply them to their settings, and that's what this next video is going to show us. And so that what might have been initially kind of maybe a smaller gender difference in personality.
Also affect gender roles. Society sees as appropriate actions for boys and girls. This too is reflected in the play and imagination of children.
Boys' stories have a characteristic that's different than girls' stories. Boys' stories tend to have high adventure and villains, and the problems that are presented in the story are generally solved by the hero coming in and taking care of the situation, vanquishing the villain. Girls' stories and girls' play, incidentally, is more apt to center around domestic themes, and girls are more likely to be rescued either by a powerful force or by magic.
Some feel that a child limiting their play and imagination to narrow gender-based roles may have developmental consequences.
In the short run, it means that children may not choose to develop potential in areas that are attractive to them. It may mean that they give up the opportunity to...
It's like playing with dolls is a good example of, boys play with dolls at some point. I'm sure every boy in here at some point played with a doll. I remember being at 3 doors down at Lindsay Brawley's house, and she had a Barbie doll, and there was a group of us, my brother, a couple other neighborhood kids that were playing with dolls one day. I don't know how old I was. But once, so it's not that, or empathy in general, or nurturing. It's not that men are not nurturing or empathic. We're very empathic and nurturing. But you can see how once a stereotype develops about boys do things one way, girls do another, that what might have been a smaller kind of genetic or biological difference, then all of a sudden, in the world of kids play, all of a sudden then you have kids doing 2 separate types of activities and then having influence on their own development. We're talking about like active process in development, like by picking what you play with because you learned a stereotype, then you're developing certain sides of you and not other sides, and making it less likely that you feel like you can express certain sides of you. Like it's not cool to play with dolls if you're a boy, even though we all have kind of empathy naturally, both men and women.